We need to stop dividing ourselves because of beliefs or differences. In the end, what truly matters is how we live, how we treat others, and how we respond to the pain and joy around us. Love is the foundation of everything. If we can love more and judge less, we will feel closer to God, no matter what name we call him. That's what I learned in heaven. Anne's message touches deeply because it goes beyond religions, cultures, or social divisions. It's not about convincing people to follow a certain belief, but about reminding us that love is at the heart of all spiritual teachings. When Anne talks about looking into the heart, she reflects lessons found in Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, and other paths. Spiritually, the heart is where all differences fade, and the truth of who we are is revealed. Her message also reminds us of the choices we make every day. Sometimes we think having good beliefs or intentions is enough to make us spiritual or deserving of salvation. But Anne's experience shows us it's in the little things, showing kindness, forgiving, and helping others, that we find the true purpose of life. Love isn't just an idea, it's something we need to practice daily, no matter who we are or what we believe. Thinking about Anne's story encourages us to reflect on our lives. Are we living by the values we believe in? Are we judging less and understanding more? Are we showing kindness in our thoughts, words, and actions? These questions aren't to make us feel guilty, but to inspire us to grow and bring more love to a world that needs it. In the end, Anne's story isn't just about her near-death experience. It's a call for all of us to rethink how we live. As she said, it doesn't matter what name you call God, or even if you believe in him. What matters is how you use the time you have. It reminds us that reaching salvation, enlightenment, or any spiritual goal starts with choosing to love more, judge less, and live with an open heart. If this story touched you or made you reflect, we invite you to support us. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you won't miss inspiring content like this. Share this message with friends, family, or anyone who might need it. And in the comments, share your thoughts on Anne's message. Have you had a similar experience or reflection? Let's create a community of love, respect, and learning together. See you next time. The question that arises is, are we ready to listen and act upon these messages? It is essential to reflect that, according to Buddhism, these experiences are a rare chance to re-evaluate one's life. When the universe or enlightened beings intervene, as in this account, it is because there is an urgency for us to align with our true purpose. These messages are not merely meant to inspire, but to remind us that time is precious and that each moment we neglect our Dharma is a step lost toward enlightenment. Anne was the kind of person many would consider an example of kindness and altruism. Despite her lack of religious beliefs, raised in a secular environment, she never felt the need to seek answers in God or any faith system. To her, the world was what could be seen and experienced, and that was enough. Her life was guided by simple principles: gratitude for what she had, generosity toward others, and the conviction that the good she did was its own reward. Even without religion, Anne had a huge heart and helped everyone around her without expecting anything in return. Everything changed drastically on a day that seemed like any other. While driving to work on a rainy morning, Anne suffered a severe car accident. The impact was so violent that she was trapped in the wreckage and lost consciousness before realizing what had happened. For 20 minutes, her heart stopped beating, and she was declared clinically dead. What happened in that brief period forever changed her perception of life, death, and what lies beyond. When Anne left her body, it was as if an immense weight disappeared instantly. She described the sensation as surreal, where the concept of time ceased to exist. Everything was light. almost as if she were floating in an unknown space. Initially, there was only profound silence, but it was not empty. It was full, laden with peace and an indescribable presence. As she looked around, Anne realized she was in a place that seemed boundless, enveloped by an intense light that did not blind her. Somehow, she knew she was no longer on Earth. As her senses adjusted to that environment, Anne began to perceive details that seemed incredibly vivid. The colors around her were more vibrant than anything she had ever seen. The trees, fields, and even mountains seemed to radiate life, as if every element of the place was in perfect harmony. The sky was not just blue, but a blend of golden and silver hues, pulsating with divine energy. Anne realized that although she was in a completely new place, she felt no fear. On the contrary, a sense of belonging overwhelmed her being. While exploring, Anne heard something that resembled music, but it was not composed of human instruments. It was as if the very environment was singing a celestial symphony emanating from the air itself. She saw angelic figures moving through the space. They had glorious appearances with majestic wings and serene expressions, radiating light so intense that it seemed almost impossible to look directly at them. Yet Anne felt no discomfort. On the contrary, she felt embraced, as if she were being protected by those figures. Anne noticed that the angels were in constant motion, yet everything seemed orchestrated perfectly. There was no chaos, only order and harmony. As she walked through that space, she saw a great gate that appeared to be made of solid gold, adorned with precious stones that reflected the surrounding light in a dazzling way. The gate was open, and beyond it, Anne glimpsed something even more astonishing, an entire city. The city had streets that seemed to be made of pure gold, and the buildings were so grand that no human creation could ever compare. Within this city, Anne felt a powerful presence that seemed to observe everything with love and authority. The streets were filled with joy, and the people she saw had expressions of absolute peace. There were no signs of suffering, only happiness and fulfillment. Anne realized that the very atmosphere of the city was different. Every breath seemed to fill her with energy that revived her. There was no need for words or explanations. Everything made sense in a way she had never experienced before. She knew she was in a place described by many as heaven, exactly as the scriptures depict it. Even with all the wonder around her, Anne began to feel that this was not just a visit. Something greater was about to happen. She had the sense that everything she was seeing was not just to show her the beauty of heaven, but to prepare her for something deeper. There was a message, a mission she needed to understand, but she did not yet know what it was. As she moved forward, the environment seemed to grow even more magnificent, and Anne felt she was being led to something that would change her life forever, and perhaps the lives of many others. While Anne explored the celestial city, an even more powerful presence began to fill the space. Suddenly, the light around her intensified, and everything seemed to fall silent in reverence. When she looked ahead, she saw a figure radiating unmatched majesty. It was Jesus. His presence was overwhelming, yet filled with indescribable love. He did not need to say who he was. Anne knew. His eyes seemed to pierce her soul, seeing not only what she was, but everything she could have been. She felt a mix of peace and awe, as if standing before someone who held all the answers to the deepest questions of existence. Jesus began to show Anne scenes from her life, like a movie playing before her eyes. He highlighted her acts of kindness, gratitude, and willingness to help others, even without any religious belief. However, he also revealed something Anne did not expect. All the moments when she had ignored spiritual signs, neglected her connection with the divine, and lived without considering a greater purpose. Despite all her goodness, Jesus explained that her soul was not yet ready to remain in that place. Her mission on earth was incomplete, preventing her from advancing. Jesus' message was clear, but terrifying. Anne's time was not over, and her absence on earth could leave a void that would impact other people in ways she could not imagine. He showed her the suffering that could arise if she chose to stay, including its effect on her family, friends, and even strangers she would cross paths with in the future. Jesus gave her a choice. She could remain in heaven and forgo her mission, but it would come with consequences for other lives. Or she could return to earth, finish what she had started, and live in alignment with her divine purpose. Anne felt the penetrating gaze of Jesus as he began to speak. His words were calm, but carried an authority that resonated deep within her soul. He explained that it does not matter what religion someone follows, the doctrines they adopt, or the rituals they practice. In the end, what truly matters is the heart. I look at the hearts of people, not their opinions, appearances, or the words they say. Many who consider themselves faithful and regular churchgoers believe they will be in heaven, but are far from understanding the true meaning of kindness, love, and compassion. For Anne, it was as if each word stripped away what she thought she knew about the world. Jesus continued, showing scenes of earth, people using religion as a weapon to spread hatred, lies, and divisions. He highlighted how many, in the name of their beliefs, were attacking and judging others for thinking or being different. These acts do not reflect God's love, but spiritual blindness. I was not sent to divide, but to unite. Heaven is not for those who cause suffering and division, but for those who, regardless of their faith, live with kindness, mercy, and love in their hearts. Anne realized this was a truth that transcended any specific belief system. Jesus also revealed how some people were using the church for personal gain, enriching themselves at the expense of others. Faith, he spoke firmly. Those who exploit God's name for power, status, or wealth are not only leading their own souls astray, but also those who trust them. These will not find a place in the kingdom of heaven. Anne saw images of leaders accumulating material wealth while ignoring the poor and needy, filling her with a mix of indignation and sadness. Jesus explained that the true spiritual calling is to serve others, not to be served by them. Finally, the most important message became clear. Only those with good hearts will be saved. Jesus emphasized that it is not outward appearances, temple attendance, or eloquent words that define a worthy soul, but daily actions, the ability to love unconditionally, and a genuine desire to do good. He reminded Anne that there is room for everyone in heaven, but it is necessary to cultivate a pure heart that reflects God's unconditional love. You have been sent back to remind people that there is still time to change. The path is love, truth, and compassion. Anne understood that this message was not just for her, but for all humanity. As Jesus' words echoed in Anne's heart, something within her began to change. She felt a profound calling, a weight mixed with a clear purpose. She needed to return. As perfect and peaceful as heaven was, Anne realized her journey on earth was not yet complete. You have a choice, Jesus repeated, looking directly at her. Anne knew that staying would mean giving up the chance to fulfill the mission he had just entrusted to her, to spread the message about the true meaning of love, compassion, and kindness. It was a monumental task, but she felt it was her destiny. In that moment, Anne felt a pull, as if her essence was being drawn back to the physical world. The light around her began to fade gradually, but did not disappear entirely. She could still feel Jesus' presence as if he were guiding her every step. Anne had one last glimpse of heaven before everything began to darken again. A mix of emotions overwhelmed her. Gratitude for the experience, but also immense determination to make the most of the second chance she had been given. Back on the earthly plane, the paramedics continued their relentless efforts to revive her. One of them, exhausted, almost gave up, but decided to try one more time. At that moment, something extraordinary happened. Anne's heart, which had been still for over 20 minutes, began to beat. Her breathing, previously non-existent, returned in faint gasps. "She's coming back," one of the responders exclaimed, while another monitored her vital signs as they slowly stabilized. Everyone at the scene was astonished. What they witnessed seemed like a true miracle. Anne opened her eyes, confused, but still feeling the echoes of her heavenly experience. She was weak, but a new energy filled her soul. Although she could not speak immediately, she knew exactly what she needed to do. Her mind was clear. Jesus' message was not just for her, but for everyone. Her return was not just a miracle. It was a call to a mission she knew she had to fully embrace, no matter how much courage and determination it required. Anne was no longer the same person who had left home that morning. Now she carried within her a greater purpose. After recovering from the accident and processing the depth of her experience, Anne made a decision. Her story could not remain a secret. She began sharing her account with friends and family, but she quickly realized that what she had to say went far beyond her close circle. Invitations for interviews started pouring in, and Anne accepted every opportunity to share the message Jesus had given her. Her goal was clear: to bring the truth about what truly matters to be worthy of heaven to as many people as possible. In interviews, Anne described every detail of her experience with a sincerity that captivated audiences. She spoke about the indescribable beauty of heaven, the majestic presence of Jesus, and most importantly, the transformative message she had received. Anne made it clear that she was not there to convert anyone to a specific religion, but to awaken people to the importance of living with a pure heart. It doesn't matter what you believe or where you go to seek answers. What matters is how you treat people, how you love, and how you cultivate kindness in your life, she would say in her interviews, moving those who listened. Anne's story quickly spread, and she became a beacon for people of different religions, and even for those who, like her before the accident, followed no faith at all. Anne often emphasized that salvation does not lie in appearances or rituals, but in the heart of each person. She warned of the dangers of hatred, hypocrisy, and exploiting faith for personal gain, emphasizing that true connection with the divine lies in love and compassion. Her words, often simple, profoundly touched even the most skeptical individuals, as they came from an experience that transcended any specific doctrine. Anne participated in television programs, podcasts, and even gave talks in both religious and secular communities. Her story was not just an inspiring account, but a call for humanity to rethink how it lives. Every word Anne spoke carried the weight of an experience that had transformed her life, and people felt it. Many began changing their attitudes, striving to be more loving and compassionate in their daily lives. Anne knew she could not change the entire world, but she was certain of one thing. If she could touch one heart at a time, she would already be fulfilling the mission Jesus had entrusted to her. In her many interviews, Anne made a point of translating Jesus' message into terms that resonated with people of all beliefs. Inspired by Buddhist tradition, she began emphasizing that divine love knows no boundaries of religion or culture. It doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, Catholic, Muslim, atheist, or follow any other spiritual path. God loves all of us equally. We are not defined by labels or specific beliefs, but by how we live and love. What truly matters is our capacity to be kind and compassionate to one another. Anne stressed that the divisions created by humanity due to differing beliefs, opinions, or lifestyles are contrary to the greater purpose of divine love. She referred to Buddhist teachings about the interconnectedness of all things, saying, "In Buddhism, we learn that we are all connected, like waves in the same ocean. Jesus showed me that the same is true in heaven. There is no separation, only unity. and as long as we are on earth, we must live accordingly, united in love, not divided by hatred or fear. She also addressed the concept of karma, relating it to Jesus' words. Every action we take, every thought we nurture, creates an impact. Being kind, loving others, and doing good is not just a Christian or Buddhist principle, it's a universal calling. What we plant with our attitudes will be what we reap in the end. Jesus showed me that a pure heart is the way to heaven, but Buddhism reminds us that every moment is an opportunity to cultivate that heart. Anne shared a heartfelt message that went beyond any one religion. She said we need to stop dividing ourselves by beliefs or differences. In the end, it's about how we live, how we treat each other, and how we handle the joys and struggles of life. Love is at the center of everything. If we can love more and judge less, we'll feel closer to God, no matter what name we use for Him. That's what she learned from her experience in heaven. Her words are powerful because they cross the lines of religion, culture, and society. It's not about following one specific belief system, but about reminding us that love is the common thread in all spiritual teachings. Anne's call to look into the heart reflects lessons found in Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, and more. The heart is where differences disappear and the truth of who we are is revealed. Her message also reminds us that life is about daily choices. Many people think having good intentions or beliefs is enough to be spiritual. But Anne's story shows that real meaning comes from small actions, showing kindness, forgiving others, and helping those in need. Love isn't just a nice idea, it's something we need to practice every day, no matter who we are or what we believe. Anne's story makes us think about our own lives. Are we living by the values we say we hold? Are we judging less and understanding more? Are we being kind in our thoughts, words, and actions? These questions encourage us to grow and do better, not to feel guilty, but to inspire more love in a divided world. In the end, Anne's message isn't just about her near-death experience. It's a call for everyone to rethink how we live. As she said, it doesn't matter what you call God or if you even believe in Him. What matters is what you do with the time you have. It's a reminder that spiritual growth starts with choosing to love more, judge less, and live with a pure heart. If Anne's story touched you or made you think about your own journey, support us by subscribing, liking, and turning on notifications for more inspiring content. Share this story with someone who might need to hear it today. And in the comments, tell us your thoughts or share your own experiences. Let's build a community based on love, respect, and learning from each other. See you next time.